And ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode review for Spy Family. I have other co-hosts here. Lucas, what's going on, man?
Excellent. Elegance.
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 Elegant.
I think this is the only anime that I've watched in a long time where I go through the whole sub, but I've been going back and watching it dub just to rewatch the episodes all over
Really?
again. Yeah, I've actually been like, I just because this is a weird thing. When I watch it subbed, I'm focusing in on what the verbiage is versus just like watching it all play out, like the physical actions and stuff that are happening. And I'm fine with going back and doing it both because I enjoy the show so much and the characters. But yeah, let's go ahead and I guess unravel this one. So the last episode, they had the carnival. Well, not the carnival. Like they had Anya's day.
Yeah,
Anya
yes.
had
her
day
celebration.
and her celebration getting in and everything. But this episode was now it's like, all right, it's do or die time. It's time to take the initiative and go in. So let's go get you fitted. Let's go and figure out what you need. But then he gets other orders like, okay, you need to kind of come in. And so he meets up with his handler. His handler was like, how dare you spend all this money, bro? What's going on? And he's like, look, it was necessary. It's all good. But there's a wrinkle in the situation because now he realizes not only does she have to, blend in, but she has to be a part of the elite. Because if she's not a part of those kids that are in that same criteria of the person that he's trying to target, then it's all gonna crap out. And so now the focus has changed because not only does Anya have to get in there and kind of like blend in, but she also has to perform very well. So it's another level of anxiety. What did you think about this episode?
Again, I always love the hijinks on this show. It's the best part of this show. But here in this episode, we see Lloyd completely stressed out and admitting that he's been compromised.
Yeah,
which is always a great thing to show is that he's been compromised by his relationship with this girl as he's growing more and more and more, but also that he's fearful for her because he doubts that much pressure on Anya is the way to do things.
Right.
So now when you look at it, and not only that, she has a certain amount of bad marks she can get before she gets put out of the school. Even when they're at the ceremony of class placement, and he's just noticing like if she's put in this class, this is a treasure trove of intel here with all of these kids. And again, it just builds up more and more fear, I think, in him of is she going to be prepared and be able to do the job. And then in reverse, we get the fear for Anya of the school. Like, again, we got to realize she's a kid. You know how terrifying it is to go to school?
Right.
And your first school, and is this important because she can still read his mind. So she fully understands just how important this is to him.
Right.
And then you're one to cook dinner, and then Anya's biggest fear come to life. But again, this I love the point that they brought that up because that is something that happens in these huge private schools, especially ones with great reputation of being schools that house kids that have money. Like they are a number one threat to be kidnapped.
Yeah,
because people think they kidnap them, I can ransom you all for money.
Right. Those kidnappers or those thugs just they didn't read the room.
But I think it's because I'm not gonna say they didn't read the room. They read the room, they just didn't understand they weren't reading the right book. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
because they said it perfectly. Like, isn't for someone who has a kid going to that school, you wouldn't shop for your own groceries. That's an expensive school.
Yeah, that's the servant or that's the maid. That's not the mother. And so they were like, oh, okay, easy target, let's go. Man, she put the fear in them folks, bro. Like I'm surprised she didn't kill one of them, to be honest with you.
Well, once she punched through that melon or whatever that was, I think they knew then. Nope. We got to go. Because she should not have been able to punch through that thing that easily.
Right. And I think, is this the first time we've actually seen her mad? Because normally she just be killing folks and it's just kind of like whatever. And like
this is
she
the first time she was angry.
Right.
And then I love Anya's response to it. Because she was so terrified just that she had messed up everything and dinner wasn't going to be perfect for her going off to school. And she's like, no, I like cool killer mommy.
Yeah, you're right. She did do that to that freaking melon. I forgot about that. Gosh, dog. Bruh, that man's head. You're right. That could have been somebody's head.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's so. What would you think if you just saw someone knife through a melon in front of you? No, that's not normal. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, nah, she
and they pissed her off again. Like, and again, it comes back to her fears about being a mom, because she said, I shouldn't have taken my eyes off of you, which is any parent's biggest fear, is you get a little distracted and then your child's gone.
Right. And how much more of that have been amplified by her, somebody that can easily slip past anybody and kill someone.
And it happened to her.
Right.
Yep.
That's crazy. And I guess the same things kind of happened to Lloyd too, because when Lloyd, kind of had to see Anya off, he was feeling all this nervousness and anxiety. Like he said some line like, anxiety. It's a familiar friend or something.
Welcome back. And I think that's when he found out about what Anya needed to do to stay at the school.
Right.
Because as a spy, I'm assuming he's anxious all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he had gotten comfortable where that wasn't the case anymore. So when it comes back, he's like, oh, I remember this feeling. I like this. I'm at home with this feeling.
So yeah, but I think from a dad's standpoint, he wants her to excel, but he wants her to be okay too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Did they ever show that Lloyd knew that she got bullied, or was it that the altercation came up and the headmaster kept it to himself? I think the headmaster kept it to himself.
They never showed that she was bullied.
Right. And he kind of read the room like, oh, okay, she did this to help this and that. And he's like, elegant girl. Well, I'm sorry, but I still got to tell your parents. Kind of thing.
I still got to take at least one from you. Normally it's 3, but I take one from you.
But it was interesting because after the kidnapping, Yor decides to teach Anya some moves. And bruh,
it was
decked that little
boy. It was more funny. So much. Look, for me, the best part of this episode is after they went and snitched on Anya. And she said, wait a minute, I didn't do that. He ran into my fist. He said, we did. We saw you do it. She said, can you prove it? Oh, if you have children, if you have been around little kids and you've seen little kids play with other kids and something like this happens where there were no lies told when she said, oh, no, he just ran into my I did nothing. This is the kid who would do it's children who do that all the time. They'd be like, no, I didn't hit him. I put my hand up and he just ran into it. Like, you punched him. You can't prove I punched him. No one saw me punch him. Like, it's a natural reaction a kid would have in that situation, out of fear of getting in trouble.
Right.
Like, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to tell whatever lie I need to tell for me not to get in trouble. But it became the elegant thing when she actually told the reason she did it was into protection of someone else, and this is how you tell Lloyd knows nothing about what happened that day in school with Anya, because technically by her doing that, she gained an asset for him.
Right. That's true. Yeah, because the little girl was already kind of thinking that she was kind of cool. She's like, she plays it off so cool. And Anya was like, this is the weird thing. Her mom prepped her.
Yeah.
with all the things that she needed to know. Even down to the very last thing to say. Like, if you're in a situation, you get in an altercation, just say you were doing it to help somebody.
Hey, the perfect lie. Because that clearly was not the reason she did it, but it was the perfect lie.
Oh, man.
Hey, people love when you help people.
Right. And I'm wondering if the kid that she hit, low key, he kind of was like, oh, she's cute. Like, she's got a thing for me.
I think it's a kid. You know what happens when little girls hit little boys.
Right. There's an attachment that's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
And Anya could care less about this little boy, honestly.
Not even in the slightest does she care about this little boy.
It's hilarious. Like, she decked that kid. She decked him straight up.
Again, I think it brings a different element to the show that we've been waiting to see, is that, Anya does read minds. So what happened if she's around a bunch of little kids? Because the reason she doesn't like him is because she read his mind.
True. You're right.
So that it just adds that different element into everything, is that she can now read the kid's mind. So she eventually, I think she'll pick up on how to respond to them, what to do with them, things of that nature. Because I can read their mind, so it's not a problem.
Right. Yeah, nah. It's the show, man. It borders different lines. Like, sometimes it's just really cute and feel good. Sometimes it's hyper pivotal and emotional. Like, it's important emotions to really dissect from a kid's perspective, from an adult's perspective. And I mean, also the animation is really nice to look at. It's nice anime to actually watch in general, just to see. But it's got a lot of things going on with this that I really do love. But Anya, she steals the show.
Yeah,
this is her world. We're just living in it, basically.
Because if Yor would have said one more time how great and pretty she looked, that woman in that store was going to snap. She's like, just how many times are you just going to say that over and over again?
Right.
But again, it's pride. It's the pride in Anya from Yor that I think, again, it's that mother-daughter relationship. This episode was about building that up even more, especially when Lloyd went away. It was like, okay, because when she took her to pick up the uniform, again, as a mom should do, especially to her little girls, is you tell her she's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen as many times as humanly possible.
Right.
So no one else could tell her anything else, and it affects her.
True.
And then Anya goes around to everybody and tells, look at my uniform. I'm pretty. Ta-da. Look at my uniform. Pretty. Ta-da. Like, that's the funniest thing in the world to me.
The weird thing is this. By the time, if they still stay a family, by the time this girl is like 10 or 12, this girl's going to know how to be a spy. She's going to know how to be an assassin. She's going to have so much that because she's picking up so much from them already. Like, she's knowing how to carry herself. She's knowing how to get around corners. She's knowing how to defend herself. She's understanding how to read the room. Like, it's fascinating because she's starting from absolutely nothing. So they're literally molding this girl, but she's having the time of her life. She's loving it all.
It's also great that they're not using her power as a crutch for anything.
Right.
Like, she's not picking up. She didn't like read the mind to understand what to do with that little boy. She learned it. She listened to her mom. Her mom told her, no, if you get in trouble, this is what you do. When she could have just easily read the mind of the headmaster and knew how to respond.
True. Yeah, she's choosing where to listen. Also, there was something that she did in this episode. I think it was when they were in the crowd. She now looks like she can hone in and focus even in crowds now to what she's listening to. And
because you would think a classroom would be a problem for her because every kid is thinking.
Right. So I think that she's starting to hone her abilities as well. And maybe she picked that up when she started like trying to find that guy in the crowd for Lloyd.
Yep.
And she pushed through and found him. Because she's not even doing nosebleeds anymore, trying to hone in on people. So, but yeah, I'm loving the show. We got anything else we were supposed to cover?
Well, not for this one, just because this is a very straightforward episode here.
Yeah.
So what you expect from Anya, like, this is her first day of school, so everything is set up around that, and Lloyd getting other mission details of things he needs to look to and things he needs to push Anya to get information for him, while still maintaining that they're family. But again, they played the background. They gave this episode really to Yor and Anya's mother-daughter relationship being built even more, and just Anya's introduction to this new school.
Right.
And what it means, including a breakdown of the students. And it said, this thing said it went from ages 5 to 19.
Right.
Like, that is, so it's almost like once you get in, you're in. This is it.
Exactly.
This is going to be the school forever.
Right, because it's college, right? It's something college. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, nah, dude, I'm loving the show. I don't know what to expect, but I understand that the hijinks and the entertainment is just so high that I don't even care. Like, I'm just kind of waiting to see it and talk about it. So, yeah. Our other co-host Matt was not here today. Hopefully we can bring him back because we would love to hear his perspective on it. Definitely go and check out his reactions. I think that him and his wife reacted to this last episode, I believe. But yeah, we'll be back next week. We may do it on a different day. I don't know. We'll see.
See how this is always. He is not being excellent.
I'm not. I never am.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline.